Okay, so for my Vinfast fans, um, I did find that has a new dealership in the Dallas area. It's actually Ewing Vin, or Vinf, Vinfast at Ewing of Plano, or whatever they say it. Just throw in here's the lease special they're offering right now. Okay, there you go. Let's talk about it a little bit, shall we? Okay, I'll admit that in pictures, I felt like the front end of this car was a bit too busy. Just too much stuff going on here. So yes, I like minimalist approach, so to speak. But after seeing it, it's okay. This doesn't bother me as much. Of course, if I'm driving it, I don't see the outside, do I? Anyway, they're just one of those observations, okay? Okay, so for the test drive itself, it's really just pulling out of the dealer lot, going down to the next street west, and then the next significant street to the north, and the next street to the east, and then back down the frontage road to the dealership. Was it 1.5, maybe 2 miles? Not really much of a chance to get to know the car, but there it is. So starting off in the beginning, the dealer, the salesman, went to go get the car. Said he was going to turn on the air conditioning. Okay, fine, it's cool. It's a warm day, not hot, but it's warm. So he made sure the air conditioning. He made sure the driver's seat, the air conditioning was on. Like, wow, okay, this is pretty good. All right, I mean, at least it has it. Now I don't know. I don't know if it's a plus thing or if it's also an eco. I didn't look that far, and so when you go to buy a car, I mean, you'll know what you're looking for, right? I will say this: having those air conditioned or vented seats was a plus. If you live in Texas or someplace hot, you probably want to get that if you can swing it. Okay. Driving the car, I mean, I didn't push it, didn't do anything special, just drove it. Adjusting the seat, no problems. The shifter setup is it's 4 buttons on the center console next to you, next to your knee. It seems a bit big to me, but once you shift the car, you don't think about shifting anymore. Okay, it's just there. The heads-up display, oh, that was nice. Every car should have this. Come on, man. So their head-up display was really good. I mean, it was bright. Let me put it that way. It was bright. I could see it in the windshield. So you don't have to look down or anything. You're just looking right there in the windshield. Another plus. Okay. So the seats were comfortable. Seat belts, just like any other seat belt. So all that part was good. So if you're looking for a car, then you want to get an EV, it's worth considering. Okay? Let me say it that way. Okay, so I come from an old school viewpoint. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. On one YouTube show, they were talking about, well, that's a European perspective. No, but so I'm used to don't lease the car, buy it. Okay? And that's the perspective I tend to come in with. But lately I've heard a few suggestions and it makes sense. Especially right now because EVs are more expensive. I mean, are they really more expensive? No, not to me, but there are those people who can find the cheapest new car and they're going like, yeah, an EV can't compete with that. Well, that's true. Chevrolet did take away the Bolt. If the Bolt was still there, the Bolt would be competing with those prices. Okay. But anyway, The suggestion I've heard is there's two factors here. One is the price is a bit high, so why buy it if you think the price is going to fall? Because it's going to kill your trade-in value, right? I've already experienced that with a couple of my cars, or at least the one car. The trade-in value is much lower than the price I paid for it. So that kind of gets in the way of trading it in. The second thing is technology is moving so fast. It's kind of like with laptops. Every year there's something new in a laptop. So if you're always waiting for the new thing, you never buy one. Okay? If you lease, at least you can say, after the lease, I don't lose anything other than the money I paid in. Okay? But the trade-off is you're not stuck with it. Okay? So there's something to consider in there. VinFast appears to be trying to give you a lease value that's pretty decent. So you might think along those lines. Okay? Just a thought. Okay, so let's do a little physical comparison, or not comparison, but physical evaluation, if you will. Standing next to the car, the front of the hood was basically about the same height as my waist, which seems to me a bit high, but this is intended as a car for you to drive around town. So you're not worried about so much about performance or performance looks. Okay, so it should fit that. I noticed that what you might call the sub trunk of the car has this styrofoam fixture in it. And it appears like there's a spot, it appears like it's for a spare tire, but a donut wouldn't fit in there. You know what, a donut's one of those temporary spares. So I can't see that fitting a spare in there. It's just too small. And there's some other stuff aligned in there. It's tempting to say, you know, I could just rip that styrofoam out and use that as a sub trunk. But if you don't need a sub trunk, why would you do it? Okay, but it's there. I didn't actually try the back seat. I'm sorry, I failed you on that one. I actually talked to the salesman for a long time about all the features in the car. So it looks nice enough. Definitely the front seats were nice. The back seats are not ventilated, if I remember right. You know, I didn't check to see if they have a screen. I'm pretty sure they don't have a screen. It's not that expensive a car. So there's that part. You know, I think VinFast spent some time on styling, so to speak. Trying to, I mean, whatever. You got to put your money somewhere. I don't get I try not to get too caught up in styling, but there it is. There was some kind of roof rack rail, was there? No. Okay, so if you want the glass roof, you'll have to go for the Plus, which should be obvious, but there you go. Okay, so this is not part of the testing that I did, not in any way, but charging speed. And you know, I don't remember the number. It was in the low 100s, if I remember right. Maybe it was 180. Could it be that high? No, I think it was like 150. Okay. That, you know, so the real question to you is, what do you plan to do with this car? Right? It's that big. It's that simple, that basic. So I tend to drive around once a month, or every month I'll drive on 1 or 2 trips where I might require supercharging. That's DC fast charging while I'm out on the trip. So it's more than 200 miles round trip. So if you're not going to do hardly any of that, your DC fast charging doesn't matter. I didn't check what the AC charge level or level 2 is. I want to say it's a little bit less than 11, but if you're charging overnight, you probably won't care. Okay? So there's that part. But it's worth looking at the numbers. I'm sorry I didn't look at the numbers before I talked to you. But my impression was it wasn't that all that great. But the question is, how much will you drive this car? So for an around the town city car, no problems. I don't think so. So my friend has a Tesla Model 3, and she uses a 120-volt charger, or EVSE. And that's all she uses to charge up her car. Now, does she drive far? No, she doesn't drive far. The furthest she drives, I think, is 20 miles in any one direction. So she might get like 20, 30 miles a day at the most. She hadn't even broke 8,000 miles since she's had it for over a year. Okay, so there's that part. Okay. So if you're going to drive it lightly like that, using the 120-volt charger won't be a problem. And I think this car came with a 120-volt. So there you go. That works if that's what you're doing. I noticed that there was some discussion of towing capacity, and when I went back and looked at the spec sheet, I was kind of surprised by it. So here it is. Okay, payload. You carry 992 pounds in your car, or 4 rays. Whatever that's worth. The roof load can carry 165 pounds. I've never actually seen anybody call that out like that. But there you go. You can put a load up there only so much. Towing capacity. This is the one that's stunning me. Okay, unbraked trailer, so 1,653 pounds. So it's basically a small utility trailer, no big deal. Brake trailer, 3,968. That's a pretty significant weight. I don't know. Do they have the capacity to do electric braking on a trailer? I didn't get into that part. But that would be a question to ask if you're going to use this for pulling a trailer. Now, most of you wouldn't even ever get into that, but the capability is there. Okay, here's all the ADAS systems, or Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. It has traffic jam assist, highway assist. I'm not sure what that means, but it says level 2. I don't know. Yeah. And I just found this stuff here. Don't know exactly what all this means, but it is here. Okay, automatic high beam. Okay. I will say that while we were looking at the car, the salesman did show me the 360 view, which looked pretty nice. I did like that. I'm just curious, what is traffic jam assist and highway assist? I've heard about the lane keeping assist, lane centering assist. I've heard about cruise control. The rest of us, I don't know. It'd be curious to find out more, but there's that part. Okay, Vinfast Connect packages. It's curious. All right, so they have a valet mode, they have a pet mode, they have a camp mode. I haven't heard anybody talk about those a whole lot, but there's that part. Geofencing, which would be useful, like if you had a kid, you can limit to where you go. That sounds good. Navigation, okay, that's all the basic navigation you expect. And they say they can plan a trip and include the charging stops. So yes, you definitely need that. Okay, and is there anything else? They have offline games, web browser. text to speech, speech to text. Okay, so it's phone integration, isn't it? E-commerce. Interesting. Okay, so going back to the top, so you got Standard Connect, Pro Connect, and Prime Connect. So I think the Pro Connect and Prime Connect are subscription packages. Worth checking out if you're it'd be helpful to know more about it, right? You may not want to bother with that because you're just buying a basic car, if that's what you're doing. Let's see, Standard Connect is standard on your VF8 Eco and VF8 Plus. No additional cost. VF Pro Connect is a monthly or yearly subscription. Okay, that makes sense. And Prime. Okay. It's just worth finding out if you're actually going to buy this car, and maybe these are not things that you're interested in, right? Smart homes control. Actually, this stuff sounds pretty decent, and I'd kind of expect it with an EV, but there's that part. Okay, so I'm going to include some clips of where I stand next to the car and I'll look at the stickers in the cars. So I want to see what the Maroni says. I want to see what the dealer says the price is going to be, and go from there. But you know, well, whatever. It is what it is. If you're interested, you're interested. And if you're not, you're not. It's that easy. All right, so finally found a dealership up here in the Dallas area, or in Texas, who actually has cars on the lot. So the question is, how do you feel about it? I'm surprised from the back, this is big. Compared to my Model 3, my Model Y, this is really big. Okay, oops, step back. Oh, the roof's high. What surprises me is this hood line is so high. I mean, when I saw in the pictures, I said, oh, that's kind of busy on the front. But looking at this is above my waist, actually. Wow. Or right at it. All right, how's this hit you, huh? VF8, price is $54,115. It has the roof, and they've added $795 with some stuff on top of that. Okay, so this is a VF8. It's a Plus. Base, jet black, saddle brown interior, $990, and carpet floor mat. And they include the portable charger, $54,115. And I'm guessing from this, the batteries are from South Korea. Everything else is Vietnam. Oh, there we go, nice pretty green one. It's 2024 Eco, which is $48,315, and the $795 markup by the dealer. Total price $79,110. Wow. I mean, I can't get a Model Y in green, but I can definitely get it much cheaper than this. Here you go, VF8 Eco. I don't know, there's gonna be too much reflection, right? Okay, base price $46,000. Deep Ocean, oh, that's the exterior. Okay, so the exterior Deep Ocean is green, $990. And carpet carpets, of course. The floor mats, $1.20 or $125. Granite black inside. Interesting. Tires are 225 by 55 R19s. Goodyear Eagle Touring. Wow, okay. Okay, so the question is, why would I want to get this car? I don't know. Okay, so this is the part where I should give you a recommendation of some kind. I've already talked a little bit about, you know, how much do you plan to drive it? I'm not going to really compare it to other cars, okay? I'll let you do that comparison. If you're watching this channel, you already have an idea of what I personally think and what I would personally recommend if you were doing the same thing I was doing, okay? But you're not doing the same thing I'm doing. You're doing something different. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. Okay, so if you're going to drive around town, this car pretty nice. It has lane centering. It has cruise control. So it has the basics of what they call ADAS, or Advanced Driver Assistance System. So it's okay. Charging seems to be okay. And let's say that your parents live in Brownsville, Texas. And so you drive down there once every 3 months. 3 months. Okay? I mean, I haven't checked, so I didn't mention that, did I? So this car has CCS1. Right? There was some talks along the lines of going to NACS, but they haven't committed to it. And with what's going on with Tesla, they may not commit to it, at least not at this moment. That's pretty clear. Okay, so I haven't checked to see what is available if you had to do a road trip. I mean, I would suggest if you're checking out EVs, you would buy this as your around town car, your secondary car, and you keep your gas car as doing longer trips, right? That's the best way to get into that if that's all you're doing. And I think this car fits that category. I mean, it looks kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. It is an EV. Charging at home shouldn't be too much of a problem. So it's all okay from that viewpoint. Now I have heard of people who have taken road trips with it, and they were reasonably okay with it, other than the charging speed was not setting the world on fire. But you know, that's not this car. Okay, so that's where I would go. I would suggest, if you're interested in it, and so let's start here. So if you live in Texas, you're going to Ewing up there in Plano. There's no doubt about that, okay? There's a couple other dealerships in the DFW area, but they didn't have any cars. At least not when I drove by. They didn't have any cars out there, okay? The next closest dealership was Wichita, Kansas. Is that what it was? Someplace like that. So if you're interested, you want to go find out more, I would go to Ewing and see it for yourself. Okay, that'd be a road trip to get up there, but there it is. So let me leave it at that. I mean, if you're interested, I would say try it. Go see yourself. Make sure it fits what you think you need. If it does, I would suggest you probably want to lease it. Now, I didn't look at how good the deal is, but leasing at the moment seems to make more sense. If Vinfast at some point finds that embracing NACS, which means also embracing Tesla supercharging to some extent, makes sense, then you've only leased it and you can switch to an updated model then, right? And that's the way I think I would approach this one. Okay? Good luck.